there's a huge number of ways that people can act, and young people especially, and that businesses know that. So one of the reasons that companies are acting on sustainability and climate change is because they understand that the next generation of employees are interested, keen, and are going to withdraw the one thing they can do, and that's their labor from companies who aren't acting in that way. And so what can you do? Okay, practical things. First of all, I know this is a really tricky job market for everyone, so you have to be careful about taking my advice and missing out on opportunities. However, most companies now are keen to see that people are enthused about this idea. This is not 10 years ago, that you might have been considered on the fringes. Now, not at all. So ask about it in your job interview. Say, look, thank you. I'm really keen to be an auditor with you. I'm really keen to, advise on environmental policy with your company. Could you tell me what your company is doing about climate change and sustainability? Because I've been involved in that at university. I'm keen to stay involved in that. Asking that question, then you put it on them to have to answer. Once you get into a job, once you get into a role, volunteering for many of the opportunities that come up. So, there will be, most organizations now have a champion, like sustainability champions group, or, discussion groups on things like that. So just starting to put your hand up and volunteer. Creating opportunities for yourselves. I tell students all the time that most of the jobs I've ever got in my life were not advertised. I made an opportunity for myself because I did something at a job I was at, or I impressed someone in a way who said, I'd really like you to come and do this for me. So grabbing opportunities. If you're sitting in a meeting and someone says, oh yeah, we probably should think about the climate change implications of that. As a young person, you put your hand up and say, I'd really like to do that in addition to my post. Do you mind if I take that on? All they can say is, no, actually, we've got someone else to do it. They're not going to think less of you. So actually being really proactive about these things in your jobs. And also every time that happens, the person has to think, oh, they've asked about climate change. Do I have an answer? So work again that I was doing with one company, and they said that with their team's a monthly strategy meeting, there is now a standing agenda item, which is climate change. So they say, okay, what are we doing about climate change? What climate change projects have we been working on, and what has been our progress on them? Because it's on the agenda, if the answer is we haven't been doing anything and we haven't been working on anything, that's not a great answer, is it? So these small things can really help to change. But I would say one other thing, and I was speaking to the CEO, this is during my PhD a number of years ago. I interviewed heads of sustainability from around the whole world. And I was interviewing the head of sustainability at DuPont in America. And she said that she had people come to her and say, oh, I really want to work in your department. Please, can I get a job with you in sustainability? And I bet you there are young people on this, website thinking that's what I want. I want a job in sustainability. And her answer was this: I don't want you. I don't want you to have a job in sustainability. I want you to have a job in supply chain. I want you to have a job in marketing. I want you to have a job in operations. Why? Because then I've got some sustainability champions in each of these departments who I can call on to get the sustainability work done, because sustainability work doesn't happen in a sustainability department. So I know we've gone off track there a little bit from COP26, but the other thing is, the people who are on your website who are learning about COP26, when they go into the workplace and someone says, so why did Article 6 matter at COP26? What was that about? And it's the young person in the team meeting, it's one of you who can put your hand up and say, I can actually tell you why that mattered and why it was important. So there is the learning, I can't even think of an analogy for the learning curve that business are doing at the moment on issues of climate change and sustainability. It is enormous. And normally business would learn about these topics over the course of years, decades, increase. This is going to be a 3-year, 2-year, maybe, massive learning curve. And that's why we're getting calls on to do these executive education all over the place. But it also means that the people in the organizations who have the knowledge will be really valued.
Thank you. That's really great. Yeah, no, it does. I think, yeah, exactly. Sorry, because my question was slightly off, a little bit off piece for 26 specifically, but I just think it's really, I was just thinking that hopefully our target demographic, there's going to be people who are entering work and wanting to kind of, use the knowledge they have and the interest that they have and be able to take that on. And I guess kind of also part of what we've been learning when we've been thinking about COP26 is that it's not all about exactly what just happens at those negotiations. These kind of things take months and years to plan, and there's all of the pre-negotiations and the things that will be happening earlier in the year. And I think in that sense it's good for people to kind of feel like there are ways within the organization that they work for, or perhaps within the world that they're in, that they can also find a way to help, even if it's not quite the same as just attending a COP. So that was really great.
Yeah. Can I just one thing I wanted to add before the next question is this issue of being an activist versus being within a business. And I think activism is really important. There's no question that activism has helped the world face up to some of the big issues it should be facing up to. But within a business, you're probably going to have more impact by being someone who provides solutions, because activism forces people to face up to issues, and that's a really important thing, and you'll never find me saying it's not. But within a business, what they want is solutions. And they may be willing to undertake solutions that aren't palatable in the short term for them if there's a good reason for it. So they want solutions and they want good arguments for why they should do it. So if you're in more of an activist personality, which is great, maybe use that in an NGO or that sort of organization. But if you want to go into a business, you have to channel that into being a person who provides solutions and provides really good arguments for why businesses should follow them. That doesn't have to be business model arguments. It doesn't have to be you should do this because it'll make you money. It might be you should do this because it's the right thing to do. It might be you should do this because you'll get good reputation. It might be you'll do this because activists are going to come and, make you face up to it. Those are all good arguments. But businesses want solutions. They don't just want activism. So that's just a piece of advice if you want to go into a business of how to frame a successful kind of career path.